Have you ever felt forgotten? Not because you were invisible, but because your efforts felt like seeds cast on the stone. Have you ever reached a season where your prayers felt like echoes in a hollow room, and your faith felt like a flickering candle in a storm? Sometimes the silence of heaven is not a sign of absence, but a preparation for a new beginning. Before we move forward, take a deep breath and let this story settle into your soul. Once, in a valley nestled between rugged mountains, lived a woman named Elara. Elara was a weaver of fine linens, careful hands, patient craft, quiet devotion. She spent her mornings in prayer and her afternoons at the loom. She believed that if she worked hard and remained faithful, her life would become a tapestry of constant blessing. But one year, a great drought parched the valley. The flax withered, the streams dried, the market for fine linen vanished. Within months, Elara's cupboards were bare. She turned to her community, the people she had served for years, but the drought had made hearts as dry as the ground. "We must look after our own first," they said. Friends who once praised her work now passed her door with averted eyes, and Elara was left with almost nothing, just a handful of coarse thread and a single rusted needle. The isolation was heavy. One night, in the quiet of her darkened home, she cried out, "I have followed the path. I have kept the faith. Why am I left with nothing?" Only the wind answered, whispering through the cracks in her door. The next day, at the edge of the valley, she met an old shepherd named Elias. He looked at her weary face and said gently, "A seed must be buried in the dark before it can reach the sun." To the seed, the burial feels like the end, but to the gardener, it is the beginning. Elara did not fully understand, but the words stayed with her. She returned home and looked again at her rusted needle, and she realized something. Though she had lost her fine flax, she had not lost her skill. She began gathering what others threw away, rough, discarded fibers from the fields. She cleaned them, spun them, wove them. Her fingers grew calloused, her back ached, but with every stitch, she whispered, "I am still seen, I am still known." One evening, weary travelers passed through the valley. They did not need delicate linens, they needed strong cloaks for dangerous mountain roads. They saw her work, rugged, resilient, honest, and they traded gold for her craft. Word began to spread of the weaver who found beauty in the discarded. Slowly, the valley turned green again. The people who once ignored her returned, amazed at her success. They asked how she survived the bitterness of the drought. Elara looked at her weathered hands and smiled. "The drought didn't take my craft, it took my comfort so I could find my character." That night, beneath a sky full of stars, Elara sat by her window in peace. She no longer feared empty cupboards or silent seasons. She had learned this: when the world turns away, grace remains. When the hands are emptied of what is temporary, the heart is filled with what is eternal. The desert does not come to destroy you, but to show you that you can bloom. Thank you for listening. For more reflections on faith and the journey of the soul, subscribe to Faithful Pilgrims. May peace go before you.